50 Cent just dropped the single most devastating, career-destroying bomb in hip-hop history, and Rick Ross' entire multi-million-dollar empire is crumbling in real time right before our eyes. For nearly 2 decades, William Leonard Roberts II, better known to the world as Rick Ross, the biggest boss, has built a godlike persona around one ultimate symbol of wealth, his legendary 109-room, 235-acre Fayetteville, Georgia estate known as the Promised Land. We've seen it in music videos. We've seen it at his annual multi-million-dollar car shows. He's bragged about it on every podcast from PBS to Joe Rogan, claiming it's a $100 million physical monument to his untouchable empire. But less than 12 hours ago, 50 Cent didn't just throw shade. He released verified, irrefutable, leaked municipal receipts and active commercial leasing documents proving that the Promised Land isn't owned by Rick Ross at all. It is a high-yield corporate-owned luxury Airbnb listing, and Ross has been paying a daily rental fee just to shoot content, film Instagram stories, and pretend he sleeps there. The internet is an absolute shambles. Industry insiders are panicking. Ross' legal team is issuing emergency cease and sit, but the damage is already done. Stay with me until the absolute end of this video because the secret corporate filings and leaked voice notes 50 Cent just uploaded expose a betrayal so massive it changes everything you thought you knew about rap royalty forever. To truly comprehend why this exposure is sending seismic shock waves through global pop culture, you have to understand the sheer depth, toxicity, and 15-year history of the war between Curtis, 50 Cent, Jackson, and Rick Ross. This isn't just a rap beef. This isn't two artists throwing subliminal jabs on a track for record sales. This is a cold, calculated, psychological blood feud rooted in character assassination, corporate warfare, and the complete destruction of public identity. Back in 2008 at the BET Hip Hop Awards, a single sideways glance in a backstage hallway sparked a firestorm that would consume both men's careers for the next 2 decades. 50 Cent was sitting at the absolute pinnacle of global dominance. Gunnet was a multi-platinum juggernaut. Get Rich or Die Trying had cemented him as an untouchable titan and his reputation for ruthless street authenticity was unquestioned. Rick Ross on the other hand was the rising prince of Miami riding the explosive wave of his hit single Hustling and crafting a mythological persona as a luxury kingpin. A boss among bosses who moved millions without ever flinching. When 50 Cent looked past Ross as if he didn't even exist, Ross took it as a mortal insult. He went into the studio and dropped mafia music, firing direct shots at 50's personal life and family. But Ross underestimated who he was dealing with. 50 Cent didn't just respond with a diss track. He deployed a military-grade campaign of public humiliation. Within weeks, 50 uncovered official government employment records exposing that before the Maybach Music Group, before the Dark Sunglasses, and before the Kingpin Lyrics, William Roberts was a licensed correctional officer in the state of Florida. The Officer Ricky campaign was born. 50 posted photo evidence of Ross in uniform, conducted radio interviews, dissecting his background, and relentlessly hammered the point that Ross' entire persona was an elaborate theatrical performance. Yet somehow Rick Ross survived. He didn't back down. Instead, he doubled down on the ultimate shield, extreme, blinding, undeniable wealth. Ross pivoted from street kingpin to corporate titan. He bought Wingstop franchises, launched Luc Belaire Champagne, built Maybach Music Group into a hit-making factory with Meek Mill and Whale, and acquired the former estate of heavyweight boxing champion Evander Holyfield in Georgia. He named it the Promised Land. The Promised Land became the cornerstone of Ross' entire psychological defense mechanism. Every single time 50 clowned him online, every single time critics questioned his authenticity, Ross would step out onto his massive white balcony, light a cigar, gesture toward his 235 acres, his 109 rooms, his sprawling swimming pools, and his fleet of 50 vintage luxury cars, and ask the world, how can a fake guy own all of this? He built an ironclad brand on ownership. He appeared on financial shows lecturing young entrepreneurs about assets over liabilities. He went on podcasts declaring that he was a true billionaire because he owned tangible physical land. He mocked 50 Cent's 2015 corporate bankruptcy filing, publicly claiming that 50 lived in a rented 2-bedroom apartment while he, the biggest boss, was sitting on a $100 million kingdom. For 15 years, the culture accepted this dynamic. 50 Cent was the master troll, but Rick Ross was the untouchable property owner. The Promised Land was the ultimate flex, the one piece of armor 50 Cent could never pierce. Until last night. What the public didn't know was that while Ross was posting poolside videos talking about his generational wealth, a shadow team of corporate investigators hired by GNIT Financial Services had been quietly digging through Georgia county land registries, corporate tax deeds, and commercial zoning permits for over 18 months. They weren't looking for rap gossip. They were following the paper trail of the title deeds. And what they uncovered wasn't just a minor financial discrepancy. It was the blueprint of the greatest illusion in entertainment history. The disaster began unfolding precisely at 11:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night when 50 Cent uploaded a series of high-resolution multi-page PDF documents directly to his official Instagram and X accounts accompanied by a caption that simply read, "The boss. Nah. The tenant, pack your bags, Ricky. Checkout is at 11 a.m. The documents were not photoshopped memes or casual blog posts. They were certified stamped public records from the Fed County Tax Assessor's Office alongside an active corporate account dossier from an ultra-exclusive short-term luxury property management firm called Aura Preferred Estates LLC. According to the official deeds, Rick Ross does not own a single square inch of the 235-acre Fayetteville property. The true title holder of the Promised Land is an offshore shell company registered in Delaware under the name Promised Land Global Holdings Limited, which is 100% owned by a private equity real estate fund based out of Dubai. The documents reveal that in mid-2023, following mounting structural maintenance costs and unverified private tax liens, the title of the property was quietly transferred through a corporate buyout deed to settle non-disclosed institutional debts. Under the terms of the master lease agreement uploaded by 50, the property was listed on a private invitation-only commercial portal. Essentially a hyper-luxury Airbnb catering to high-net-worth film studios, commercial directors, and ultra-wealthy elite clients charging $35,000 per night. To maintain the illusion of ownership, Rick Ross' team reportedly entered into a specialized Tier 1 commercial occupancy agreement. Under this contract, Ross was granted a set number of residential days per month to occupy a private wing of the estate, host designated public events like his annual car show, and film social media content, provided he vacated specific master suites whenever high-paying corporate entities booked the grounds for movie productions or private retreats. The internet instantaneously caught fire within minutes. Fake boss, Promise Edlenderb, and 50 exposed Ross were trending #1 worldwide. The immediate emotional fallout was raw, chaotic, and explosive. Former Maybach Music Group affiliates began panicking publicly. Leaked internal group chats from MMG team members started circulating on Telegram and X showing frantic messages sent at 2 a.m. One top executive wrote, "Tell me this isn't real. Please tell me 50 faked these papers. We have corporate sponsor meetings at 9 a.m. for the car show. They're asking for proof of venue ownership." Ross' immediate inner circle attempted to initiate a digital blackout, but the situation escalated into utter madness when a prominent luxury real estate influencer went live on TikTok and dropped a live screen recording of the Aura Preferred Estates portal. On screen right before 100,000 live viewers was the Fayetteville estate listed under the title The Royal Georgia Compound 109 rooms private horse stables helipad access. The calendar showed open booking slots for the upcoming weekend available for $38,500 a night with a mandatory $5,000 cleaning deposit and a strict rule listed at the bottom. Guest access to West Wing restricted during master tenant filming schedules. The humiliation was instant and soul-crushing. Ross, who was reportedly hosting an intimate gathering with high-level investors at the estate when the news broke, was caught completely off guard. According to an anonymous insider who was physically present in the main dining hall, the atmosphere flipped from high-energy luxury to suffocating horror within seconds. Phones began ringing simultaneously. Ross' head of security rushed into the room, whispering into his ear before handing him an iPad displaying 50 Cent's post, which had already amassed over 3 million views in under 40 minutes. Ross reportedly slammed his drink onto the table, his face turning pale as he demanded his legal counsel get on an emergency conference call. Witnesses claimed shouts could be heard echoing down the massive marble corridors of the mansion as Ross screamed at his business manager, demanding to know how municipal tax execution records and private corporate lease structures were leaked directly to Gannett's legal department. Then came the first catastrophic twist that turned this embarrassment into a full-blown financial crime investigation. As fans and bloggers began downloading the multi-page tax documents uploaded by 50 Cent, independent financial analysts noticed a terrifying detail on page 14 of the Fayette County filing. The corporate entity that holds the master lease for the Airbnb structure had filed an official corporate dispute against William Roberts in early 2026, alleging over $1.44 million in unpaid operational lease fees, unauthorized property subleasing, and illegal commercial exploitation of the grounds. In short, not only was Rick Ross allegedly renting his legendary $100 million estate as a commercial tenant, he was reportedly months behind on his rent, facing imminent eviction, and using revenue generated from his public car shows to pay off backdated residential lease penalties just to keep the keys to the front gate. If 50 Cent had stopped there, it would have been considered one of the greatest internet victories in hip-hop history. But Curtis Jackson does not do half measures. He had been waiting for this precise moment for over a decade, and he was prepared to burn the entire narrative to the ground. At 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, while the digital world was still reeling from the Airbnb listing revelation, 50 Cent dropped part 2 of his expose. This wasn't a document. It was a 9-minute unedited audio recording of a leaked telephone conversation between a senior vice president of a major global brand sponsorship agency and Ross' primary business manager, recorded just 3 weeks prior. On the audio, the corporate executive can be heard calmly explaining why their multi-million-dollar endorsement deal for Ross' upcoming album and festival tour was being abruptly frozen. "We ran the forensic audit on the venue assets provided in the contract proposal. John, we can't insure the event at the Fayetteville location under Williams' name because the corporate title isn't in his name. Our underwriters flagged it. It's a corporate short-term lease registered to a Dubai Holdings group. He doesn't have the legal authority to sign off on commercial filming rights for the main compound without the primary landlord's written consent. We're pulling the $4 million advance until he provides a clear title." The silence on the other end of the line was deafening, followed by Ross' manager frantically begging the executive not to let the information leak to the press. The release of this audio unleashed absolute pandemonium across the music industry. Major news outlets, financial blogs, and entertainment platforms scrambled to verify the claims. Wall Street media analysts began breaking down the implications on live broadcasts, questioning whether Ross' entire corporate empire, his Wingstop locations, his Luke Belair equity, his real estate portfolio, was built on a house of cards leveraged against high-interest corporate loans. Social media exploded into a battleground of unprecedented proportions. X was overwhelmed with thousands of posts per minute as fans, haters, and neutral observers weighed in on the carnage. A viral thread posted by a prominent hip-hop journalist detailed the horrifying domino effect. If 50 Cent's documents are 100% verified, this is the biggest financial exposure in music history. Rick Ross built an entire 18-year career, secured multi-million-dollar brand deals, and flexed on the entire industry based on owning the promised land. If he's just a glorified, high-yield tenant facing lease default, every single brand that signed a deal with MMG based on asset-backed credibility is going to pull their funding by morning. Within hours, celebrity responses began pouring in, adding fuel to an already raging inferno. Meek Mill posted a series of cryptic panic tweets before quickly deleting them, writing, "An asterisk as we cap on the gram man. Trust nobody in this business. Everything ain't what it looks like." Drake, who has had his own bitter ongoing feud with Rick Ross following their explosive musical fallout, jumped directly into 50 Cent's Instagram comment section, dropping a single devastating line that received over 250,000 likes in 2 hours. "Told you he was flying economy for a reason. Checkout time is 11 a.m., buddy, don't forget your luggage." DJ Academics went on a wild 5-hour emergency live stream, screaming at his camera as he parsed through county tax records live on air. Is this real? Yo, 50 Cent is a tactical genius. He didn't just expose a lie. He called the landlord on him. Rick Ross is getting evicted from the promised land. The biggest boss is a squatter. As the public spectacle reached a fever pitch, Ross' official legal counsel finally broke their silence at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, issuing an emergency press release threatening a $100 million defamation and privacy infringement lawsuit against 50 Cent and Gannett Entertainment. The statement claimed that the documents were grossly misinterpreted commercial restructuring papers designed to damage Ross' reputation ahead of his upcoming business ventures. But 50 Cent was completely unfazed. Within 20 minutes of the legal notice being issued, 50 posted a video sitting in the back of a luxury vehicle holding a cup of iced coffee, laughing hysterically at the camera. Lawsuit. Lawsuit for what, Ricky? Public land records are public land records. You can't sue me because the county clerk put your rent receipts on the internet. And guess what? I just spoke to the primary asset managers in Dubai and Gina Capital just put in a formal cash offer to buy the master deed. That's right, Ricky. I'm buying the house. I'm your new landlord and rent is due on the 1st of the month. The internet completely lost its mind. The concept of 50 Cent actually purchasing the master title deed to Rick Ross's prized estate and becoming his literal landlord was a twist so absurd, so villainous, and so ruthlessly brilliant that it sounded like something out of a Hollywood movie script. Yet, the formal acquisition documents 50 flashed on screen bore an official corporate stamp of intent filed with the Georgia Secretary of State's Business Registry. The sheer psychological pressure on Rick Ross had shifted from a public relations nightmare to an existential crisis. But just as the world thought the story had reached its absolute climax, a second, far more dangerous revelation surfaced from the depths of the leaked corporate filings, a secret clause hidden deep within the master lease that threatened not just Ross' pride, but his personal freedom. By midday, the entire entertainment world had fractured into two fiercely warring camps, creating an unprecedented digital divide that dominated every corner of the internet. The fallout was no longer contained to hip-hop blogs. It was being dissected on mainstream financial news networks, sports radio shows, and morning podcasts across the globe. On one side stood the millions of fans and internet commentators who viewed 50 Cent's exposure as the ultimate poetic justice, a long overdue reality check for an era of hip-hop defined by unvetted, exaggerated, and fake luxury. The comment sections across Instagram, YouTube, and X were flooded with millions of memes, edits, and sarcastic commentary. At Hip Hop Forensics, 50 Cent is the undisputed god of trolling. He didn't drop a diss track. He dropped property tax receipts and an Airbnb link. Rick Ross spent 15 years telling us to buy assets. And he's out here renting his own living room. You can't make this up at Real Talk Culture. This is the end of the boss persona. How can you go on podcasts lecturing 20-year-olds about financial freedom when 50 Cent owns the land under your feet? The illusion is shattered forever. At Capital Markets Daily. If these corporate filings hold up in court, Ross' brand value drops by 80% overnight. Modern celebrity endorsement deals are built on verified net worth and asset stability. This isn't rap beef, it's corporate destruction. Conversely, a passionate faction of diehard Rick Ross supporters and industry defenders rushed to his defense, claiming that 50 Cent was engaging in weaponized corporate harassment and attempting to sabotage an iconic black-owned business empire out of pure unadulterated malice. Prominent cultural commentators argued that complex real estate holding structures, offshore corporate leasing, and tax minimization strategies were standard practice among ultra-wealthy executives, asserting that 50 Cent was deliberately misrepresenting sophisticated wealth management tactics as a rental scam to mislead the public at MMG_4. Y'all don't understand how rich people move. Ross doesn't hold the title in his own name for tax reasons and liability protection. 50 is taking advantage of people who don't know real estate law to make Ross look bad. Ross is still the boss at Urban Culture Vibe. 50 Cent has been obsessed with tearing Ross down since 2008. It's sad at this point. Even if it's held under a corporate entity, Ross built MMG, owns dozens of wing stops, and lives like a king. 50 is just bitter. The debate raged fiercely on live radio shows and television panels. On The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God and Angeli engaged in a heated debate over the cultural impact of the leaks. "Listen, man," Charlemagne shouted into his microphone. "If you build your entire identity on being the biggest, richest, most untouchable mogul in the game, you cannot get caught with your venue listed on a short-term rental site. Optics are everything in hip-hop. 50 didn't create the documents. He just held up the mirror." Meanwhile, major corporate brands affiliated with both artists were forced into immediate crisis management. Two global beverage and luxury lifestyle companies that had long-standing marketing partnerships with Maybach Music Group temporarily paused their digital ad campaigns featuring Ross, releasing neutral statements stating they were monitoring the ongoing legal and corporate disclosures regarding venue licensing rights. Stock prices for corporate entities associated with celebrity brand partnerships experienced minor fluctuations as Wall Street investors digested the chaotic news. The hip-hop community itself was utterly paralyzed with shock. Legendary producers, veteran rappers, and prominent music executives quietly distanced themselves from the crossfire, terrified of being caught in 50 Cent's path of destruction. A well-known music mogul speaking on condition of absolute anonymity to a major entertainment portal summarized the terrifying reality of the situation. "Nobody wants to fight 50 Cent because 50 doesn't play by rap rules. Other guys drop a song. 50 hires private investigators, buys your corporate debt, contacts your municipal tax assessors, and buys your house out from under you. He doesn't want to win a debate. He wants to erase your entire life's work." What happened to Ross last night is going to make every single artist in this industry double-check their corporate filings before they flex on the gram again. As the public war of words reached a fever pitch, the psychological toll on the main players became dangerously unstable. Late-night footage surfaced showing blacked-out SUVs speeding through the gates of the Fayetteville estate while security personnel aggressively turn away news crews and fan cameras attempting to film the main gate. The pressure was mounting to an unbearable level, setting the stage for a final catastrophic revelation that would throw the entire situation into absolute chaos. Just when the world believed the story had reached its absolute limit at precisely 900 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the narrative exploded into a dimension nobody, not even the most cynical industry insiders, could have ever predicted. A breaking legal bulletin was filed in the Northern District Court of Georgia by an emergency court-appointed receiver representing the primary equity holders of Promised Land Global Holdings Limited. The filing, which was leaked to the press within minutes of hitting the electronic docket, contained a bombshell twist that completely reconfigured the entire scandal. The court documents reveal that the Delaware shell company holding the master title to the estate isn't just owned by an offshore investment fund in Dubai. The primary managing director and 51% majority shareholder of that Dubai entity, who quietly bought out the property's underlying mortgage notes during a silent restructuring process in late 2024, is a corporate holding firm registered as Geonet Holdings International LLC. Read that again. 50 Cent didn't just make an offer to buy the master deed to Rick Ross' estate last night. 50 Cent has secretly owned the primary equity stake in the master deed for over 8 months. The entire narrative was a masterclass in psychological warfare. 50 Cent hadn't just discovered the Airbnb leasing structure. He had personally authorized the creation of the corporate lease framework through his asset management managers, silently positioning himself as Rick Ross's ultimate landlord while allowing Ross to continue filming content, hosting car shows, and boasting about his $100 million promised land to the entire world. 50 Cent didn't just catch Ross in a lie. He spent 8 months letting Ross build the illusion higher and higher, waiting for the precise moment when the exposure would cause the maximum possible cultural and financial destruction. According to page 32 of the newly unsealed court filing, 50 Cent's management entity has officially issued a formal 14-day notice to vacate to William Leonard Roberts II, citing severe breaches of the Commercial Master Occupancy Agreement, unauthorized structural alterations to the main estate grounds, and long overdue lease arrears totaling over $1.4 million. If Rick Ross does not vacate the 109-room FA estate or clear the entire multi-million-dollar corporate judgment by 5 p.m. on August 22, 2026, local law enforcement agencies and county sheriffs are legally authorized to enter the premises, padlock the main gates, and physically remove all personal property from the grounds. The biggest boss in hip-hop history is officially facing court-ordered eviction from the very compound that defined his entire legacy at the hands of his bitterest mortal enemy. When the news broke, Rick Ross' social media accounts went completely dark. The usual steady stream of poolside videos, luxury car posts, and boastful speeches vanished instantly, replaced by a terrifying, deafening silence that spoke louder than any response ever could. Supporters are in complete disbelief. Critics are stunned into silence. The entire entertainment industry is holding its breath, waiting to see if Rick Ross can somehow execute an impossible legal miracle or if the world will truly witness the sight of local law enforcement padlock the gates of the Promised Land live on global news broadcasts. This story is far, far from over. Leaked internal court schedules indicate that an emergency injunction hearing has been set for first thing tomorrow morning in Atlanta, where Ross' legal team will make a desperate last-ditch effort to freeze the eviction order and freeze 50 Cent's corporate enforcement actions. Simultaneously, rumors are swirling that 50 Cent is preparing to drop a third wave of unreleased audio recordings and financial disclosures that involve several other major hip-hop figures who allegedly held secret financial stakes in the illusion. Will Rick Ross find a way to save his empire? Or is this the final irreversible end of the biggest boss persona? What other mega stars are secretly tied to this fake luxury scandal? The truth is coming to light faster than anyone can handle, and the next 24 hours will change the history of hip-hop forever. This is without a doubt the most insane, mind-blowing, and historical celebrity exposure we have ever covered on this channel. Now, I want to hear directly from you, the realist community on YouTube. Do you think Rick Ross' career and legacy can ever recover after being exposed like this? Or has 50 Cent officially delivered the ultimate career-ending knockout blow? How do you feel about 50 Cent secretly buying the master title deed to the Promised Land and issuing a formal eviction notice? Is it pure comedic genius, or did he take this 15-year beef way too far? Drop your thoughts, theories, and wildest predictions in the comments section down below. Right now, let's get a massive debate going. I am going to be down in the comments replying to the most insane responses over the next few hours. If your mind was completely blown by this breakdown, hit that like button immediately. It helps the algorithm push this emergency update to real hip-hop fans all across the globe. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now. We are tracking this story live minute by minute as it unfolds in real time. We have our team monitoring the Atlanta courthouse. And as soon as tomorrow morning's emergency injunction hearing finishes or the second 50 Cent drops those new leaked audio tapes, we will be dropping an exclusive urgent follow-up video that you cannot afford to miss. Don't get left behind on the biggest story of the decade. Subscribe, turn on your notifications, and stay locked into the channel for the ultimate truth. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned and I will see you in the very next.